Hi all, Planetside Agent here. Today is going to be the first part of a three-part series on the Pathfinder M34 Scout Canteen and my companion Brew Kit. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Okay, let's get started. Like I said in the intro, it's a three-part series. The first, I'm just going to go ahead and review the Pathfinder Canteen. The second part, I'll be reviewing what I've put in or how I built up my companion brew kit to be used with this canteen setup. And the third is actually going to do a field test and going to go out and brew some coffee using the canteen and the cup. So stay tuned for all those, and all of those videos will be linked back and forth to each other in each of the separate ones. So we'll get started with part one, and that's the canteen. And this is the, I don't know if you've seen other videos on this or not, but this is the Pathfinder M34 Scout Canteen. It's modeled after a Swiss Army canteen or whatever. I'll show you a picture of the Swiss one. I don't have one. I've thought about getting them time again, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So anyway, this is kind of a cool set. I don't really need it. I got all kinds of canteens and water bottles, but I just really like the looks of it. One nice thing this has over the Swiss model is it's got a screw-on cap, where the other has a cork. If you look at the picture I posted. Anyway, I guess to start off with, let's just talk about the canteen in general. It's like they said, it's a two-piece set, stainless steel. They said it's a food-grade stainless steel, so I guess less rust. But I'll just read the dimensions off the box. We got a height of 7 inches, width of 3.5 inches, depth of 2, weight 7.3 ounces with an 18-ounce capacity. So, oh, and that's the water bottle, the canteen. The cup is 4 3/4 inches by width of 3 3/4 inches, a depth of 2 1/4 inches, and weighs 7.1 ounces, and it holds 16 ounces. And it is graduated, which I'll show you here when I break it down. Actually, I kind of got this, and I'm going to add it to my EDC bag, especially the one I take out on my walks in the morning out in the refuge, where I will be doing the field test. But anyway, that's another subject. And I thought I wanted 2 small setups that I could just throw in the pack and be with me all the time. And I kind of liked having the integrated cup in here. So we'll just go ahead and I'll just review the canteen. It's real nice. It comes with a strap to kind of hold the two together and cut down on some of the rattle. But you're going to get some, and I'll show you what I did for that. One thing I did notice, to get the strap off, it's a little, okay, it's a little snug, but you can get it off of the, with the cap on. Okay, then it comes in 2 pieces. Now, let me just pull this out. You have the canteen, which does have a flat bottom, which is nice, because if you look at the original military ones, they're more of a rounded bottom. This one will sit upright, and it's pretty stable. This one's got water in it because I've actually carried it for a couple of days already. But the other one doesn't. It's a little more of a rounded bottom. It does have a bit of a flat on it, but I think I got some pictures right here. You can see what the original looks like. So I think this is actually an improvement on the design, so you can set it down. So, and then you've got the canteen cup. Pull this out. There we go. Which has got 2 big bat wing handles, which is actually, they're a little bigger than that came with the original military model. Also, as Dave always points out, these are big enough you can hold them with a glove, which is nice. And then if you can see in here, you can see the graduations, but it goes from looks like 10 ounces up to 16 ounces, or probably, I don't know, 275 milliliter up to over 400 milliliter. So that's a nice feature. And again, yeah, it's fairly stable. It's kind of narrow. You you're going to have limited on what kind of a pot you can put it on. But anyway, they do they nest together nicely, although they can rattle a little bit, and that's the reason I think he gives you the strap and keeps everything together. What I did to help kind of cut back on the rattle, although the first few days I carried this, I didn't notice any rattle in the back of my pack, but just keep it a little banging around. Got some of this craft foam at the dollar store. I've used it for other things, but got some of that laying around, and I just slip that in there, and that'll cut back on some of the rattling. If you need it quiet because you're sneaking around hunting or something. But imagine if I slipped it over to the side a little bit more, that would get rid of some of the rattle. But that's, yes, like I say, for some people that's a problem. If it is, you might want to go with a different solution, but it's not a problem for me. Okay, the cup is long and narrow, which could be a problem using it on a stove, but that's the whole principle behind this, is to conform to the canteen and keep a nice compact, rather than, you know, if you had like a bigger, rounder pot. You can see that this is a 20-ounce Ollie Camp, which is probably 750 milliliter size pot. So it just gives you a little more conformity. I think especially this is good in something you want a narrower carry, like in a haversack rather than a backpack, because usually not that big a deal. So anyway, you will need whatever you're going to use this on, other than just sticking it in the fire, which is stainless steel, so that's not a problem. But you'll need something that's that has good pot stands to where you can balance it on there. And then, like you said, on the Esbit type foldable stove, it's not going to work unless you have, like what I use on mine, these grates. Then you're in good shape. So I did build a stove specifically for this, and that'll be covered in part 2. But it's one of my Altoid tin stoves with the posts on it, and I'll just go ahead and look if you're interested in that. Well, you know what? I think I'll just bring that out right now, since we're talking about stoves. Say I wanted to build a brew kit for this setup, so I thought the perfect solution for a stove would be one of my Altoid stoves, and I do have videos on how I made these type of stoves in my playlist. If I remember, I'll put all that in the description. But this is I use one of my round alcohol burners. It has the carbon felt in there, keep from spilling. And the stove is my, oops, stay in frame here, sorry, is the one I built using the Chicago bolts, so you can put it together. Now what I had to do was, my standard that I make, where the pillars are a little further out in the stove, would not work. It was just too tippy. So what I had to do was, I wanted to get these pillars in close enough that the pot will comfortably sit on it, and also I can still put the burner in. So to make it, and I do have a video on how I made these stoves if you're interested in going out there. But what I did was, I just moved them in a little bit closer, as close as I could get to the burner without any interference. So anyway, so I'll just set this up real quick. You just screw these Chicago bolts in. These are the 2-inch Chicago bolts. Yeah, I've built several stoves around these Chicago bolts, some for wood burning, some for alcohol, and like I say, all those are in my playlist for stoves and burners if you guys want to go out and explore all the many things I've done. So yeah, it's kind of fun to do, really, and I like to stay busy also. I'm retired, but I'm not the kind that sits on the lazy boy watching TV kind of guy. I got to stay busy. Not to say I don't take it easy in the afternoon. have a beer, sit down and watch some YouTube videos like you guys are probably doing. But anyway, so there the pillars are a little bit closer. The stove fits in there now. You can see this will, oops, yeah, it's still even here. I mean, I got these as close as I could. It's a little tippy, so you got to be careful. You can't be real klutzy with this, but it'll work. We'll see. I haven't really done a burn test this yet, so I guess we'll see what happens when I do the field test. but it will fit. It's fairly secure. So just make sure you when you put it on, you're centered so it doesn't want to roll off. So there you go. So I'm sure it'll work. You just have to be careful. If you're kind of klutzy or ham-fisted, you might want to come up with a different solution for a stove. Maybe actually, you could probably almost in this kit get away with this stove here, which with this grate on there, it'll be a lot stabler, so, or more stable. Let's see. So that's going to be my setup. I can't think of anything. Oh, another thing I was going to mention about this cup. I'd only use it for boiling liquids, water or coffee or tea or whatever. I wouldn't use it for cooking anything that would stick because it's pretty narrow, and my hands aren't that big. So even for me, I'd never get my hand down there to get this thing cleaned out. So if you had some stuck-on food in there, it's probably going to be in there for the duration. So I wouldn't recommend using cooking anything that would stick on the inside of this. Pretty much stick to water. So let's see. I think that's all I got to say about the canteen set. Like I said, this is part 1. Part 2, I'll get into the this kit. So go ahead and wait for it, or go out and look for that one if you're seeing how I built this up. So anyway, that's all I can think about this part. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.